Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're taking something that usually requires a whiteboard full of incredibly dense, honestly kind of dry technical jargon, and we're going to make it, well, delicious. Okay, so let's dive right into this. We're looking at Google Cloud Networking. And to demystify how all these super complex virtual networks actually talk to each other, we're going to use a scenario we're calling the bakery merger. Trust me on this one. By the end of this explainer, concepts that usually baffle even seasoned business owners are going to make perfect, intuitive sense.
So picture this. You've got two incredibly successful bakeries. Let's say one makes the absolute best sourdough in a city, right? And the other makes these award-winning croissants. Well, they've just agreed to merge into this massive super bakery. But now, here is the logistical nightmare. The sourdough team is headquartered in one massive skyscraper, and the croissant team is located in an entirely different skyscraper right across the street. To make this merger actually work, they desperately need to share their top secret recipes, their financial data, ingredient lists, and they need to do it constantly. But look down below those skyscrapers. You've got the public sidewalks and city streets. They're crowded, they're full of traffic, and honestly, worse than that, they're full of corporate spies and rival bakers who would literally love nothing more than to intercept that famous croissant recipe. If you send your bakers down to the street level with a briefcase full of recipes just to walk across the street, you risk losing everything. So, in the tech world, those two skyscrapers, those are two separate Google Cloud networks, and those dangerous, crowded streets down below, that's the public internet.
Okay, Section 1. Building a private bridge, VPC Peering.
Enter our very first major cloud networking concept. It's called VPC Peering. Now, VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. Just think of your skyscraper as your VPC. When you set up VPC Peering, you are essentially building a fully enclosed, private, climate-controlled sky bridge directly between the 50th floor of the sourdough building and the 50th floor of the croissant building. So the employees, which, by the way, represent your data packets here, can now just walk back and forth between the two networks seamlessly. They never have to take the elevator all the way down to the lobby. They never have to step foot on those chaotic public streets. They just walk right across the private sky bridge. This allows two completely separate cloud environments to share resources directly, almost as if they were in the exact same building. It's a real game changer.
Moving on to Section 2, Speed, Security, and Cost, the business benefits.
First up, let's talk about latency. Now, in the cloud world, latency is really all about speed. It's just the time it takes for a piece of data to get from point A to point B. If your bakers have to go all the way down to the street level, wait at crosswalks, dodge traffic, and then wait for another elevator in the next building, sharing a single recipe takes a really long time. That's what we call high latency. But with our VPC Peering Skybridge, the recipe takes a direct, private, completely unobstructed path. The distance is way shorter, and there are absolutely no stoplights. Translating that to business terms, this means your applications run incredibly fast, your databases sync up instantly, and most importantly, your customers aren't left just staring at a spinning loading screen because the data arrives almost exactly when it's requested.
Second, there's the massive security benefit. Remember those rival bakers we talked about lurking down on the sidewalks? Well, when you send your business data over the public internet, it's vulnerable. It can be intercepted, inspected, or totally compromised. But our Skybridge, it completely eliminates that risk. The data literally never hits the public roads. The recipes stay tucked safely inside a private, enclosed environment that only your merged bakery controls. Basically, by using VPC peering, your internal IP addresses are never exposed to the outside world, which creates a virtual fortress around your most valuable digital assets.
Finally, we absolutely have to talk about the bottom line, and that's cost. The crucial point here is that sending data out onto the public internet isn't just slow and dangerous, it's expensive. Cloud providers actually charge you what are called egress fees when your data leaves their network to travel across the public internet. It's kind of like paying a heavy toll or having to pay premium rates for secure street couriers every single time you want to share a recipe. Nobody wants that. Because the VPC Peering Skybridge keeps the data entirely within the Google Cloud infrastructure, you bypass those massive public internet tolls completely. It is significantly cheaper to send data over your own private Skybridge than to continuously pay couriers to brave the public streets. So it's faster, it's safer, and it's cheaper. Really, it's a triple win.
All right, Section 3, Hallways versus Private Highways, Scaling Up.
So our newly merged super bakery is absolutely booming. The Skybridge is working perfectly, but now they've gone and purchased a massive off-site flour warehouse 10 miles outside the city limits. They need to connect their corporate skyscrapers to this new external facility. Obviously, we can't build a glass Skybridge 10 miles long. That's just not going to happen. And that is exactly where we move from VPC peering to carrier peering. Think of VPC peering as the internal hallway or that Skybridge between two closely related buildings. It's light, it's fast, and it connects things that are already in the cloud. Carrier peering, on the other hand, is like building a dedicated, private, underground highway that runs all the way from your city's skyscrapers directly to that offsite warehouse. You partner with a telecom provider, which we call a carrier, to pave this heavy-duty, private road. It gives you enterprise-grade, highly reliable access from your Google Cloud network directly to your physical on-premises infrastructure. And the best part? You do all this without ever having to put your delivery trucks out on the public interstate.
Which brings us to Section 4, the business bottom line, translating to ROI.
Let's tie this all together. From now on, when you hear the term VPC peering from your IT team, you'll immediately know they're talking about the private skybridge, that internal hallway. And the business benefit? Extremely fast, highly secure, and really cost-effective internal sharing between your cloud environments. And when they bring up carrier peering, you'll know exactly what they mean. They're talking about building that private underground highway. The business benefit there is a rock-solid, secure, enterprise-scale connection to your physical, off-site locations or your on-premises data centers. By understanding these concepts through the lens of our bakery, you're no longer in the dark when big infrastructure decisions are being made. You understand exactly what you're buying and, more importantly, why it's absolutely necessary to protect the secret recipes of your business.
Which really brings us to the most important takeaway of this entire explainer. We've seen exactly how our bakeries avoided the dangers and the delays of the public streets by building their own private bridges and highways. So take a moment to think about the hidden foundation of your own business infrastructure. When your departments share sensitive customer data, financial records, or proprietary secrets, are they walking it safely across a private skybridge, or are they just standing out there on a crowded public street corner hoping nobody is looking? Ask yourself, what kind of roads is your business data traveling on right now?